I stand before you today with one unmistakable message about Operation Epic Fury. America is winning. This was never supposed to be a fair fight. The Iranian Air Force is gone. Built for 1996, destroyed in 2026. The Iranian Navy now rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. 4 days in, and we have only just begun to fight. At Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the 82nd Airborne Division's Ready Brigade was already on the move. Soldiers advanced with purpose through the barracks and staging areas. As the final order came down, they began the careful ritual of preparing for combat. Each paratrooper checked and rechecked his rucksack, packing spare uniforms, hygiene kits, first aid supplies, rations, extra ammunition, water, and personal essentials. They tested their body armor plates, adjusted helmet straps, tightened tactical vests, and slung their M4 rifles in soft cases over their shoulders. Crew chiefs loaded belt after belt of ammunition into the door guns of the waiting helicopters. The weight of the gear was heavy, but their determination was heavier. Captain James Harland, the overall mission commander, walked the formation, speaking directly to every platoon. His voice carried calm authority as he reminded the soldiers why they were here. At the same time, Chief Petty Officer Marcus Hayes moved among the Ranger teams embedded with the 82nd, offering quiet words of encouragement and double-checking every strap and buckle. "Stay tight, stay sharp," he told them. "We hit the ground running, and we don't stop until that strait is open." Once fully equipped, the 4,000 paratroopers of the 82nd formed into long, disciplined columns. The sound of boots on concrete echoed like a drumbeat as they marched toward the waiting fleet of C-17 Globemaster III aircraft. 17 Globemaster IIIs lined the taxiways with their massive rear ramps already lowered. One by one they climbed the ramps and found their seats inside the cavernous cargo holds. Seats were secured, parachutes were hooked up, and static lines were checked again and again. The C-17s were loaded to capacity, their engines beginning to whine as the aircraft prepared for takeoff. Inside the cargo holds, the tension was thick but controlled. Soldiers sat shoulder to shoulder, some closing their eyes in quiet prayer, others sharing quick jokes to settle their nerves. Chief Petty Officer Marcus Hayes walked the aisle, checking on his teams and reminding them of the plan. Jump, rally, and push forward immediately to seize the coastline. The moment the last soldier was aboard, the ramps closed. The 17 Globemasters began rolling down the runways. One after another, they lifted into the sky, heavy with the weight of 4,000 determined fighters and all their equipment. As the formation climbed and turned toward the Strait of Hormuz, the paratroopers inside felt the familiar rush of anticipation. At that exact same moment, far out at sea, Navy Marines aboard the USS Tripoli, LHA-7, and supporting amphibious ships were preparing for their own critical mission, the capture of Iran's Kharg Island oil port. Marines loaded into amphibious combat vehicles and LSAC hovercraft. Full combat gear, rifles, body armor, and packs were secured as the vehicles rolled down the well decks and entered the water. Rotors spun up on CH-53E Super Stallions and MV-22 Ospreys parked on the flight deck. The Marines were moving to seize the massive oil terminal that supplied Iran's lifeline, a bold strike that would cut off the enemy's last major source of revenue. While the 82nd Airborne secured the strait itself, the operation moved like clockwork. The C-17s carrying the 82nd Airborne reached the drop zone over the Hormuz coastline. The jump masters gave the commands: stand up, hook up, check static lines. The rear ramps lowered and green lights flashed. Go, go, go. 4,000 paratroopers stepped into the sky. Parachutes bloomed in a breathtaking white cascade as the soldiers descended directly onto the coastline. The moment their boots hit the dirt, they shed chutes, grabbed weapons, and began pushing forward under covering fire. At the same moment, the Navy Marines launched from the sea. ACVs and LCACs raced toward Kharg Island, while helicopters lifted off from the USS Tripoli, carrying more Marines in waves. The two forces executed a perfect pincer movement. The 82nd Airborne seized the straight coastline from the air, while the Marines prepared to strike the oil port from the sea. The 82nd Airborne hit the ground running. Chief Petty Officer Marcus Hayes was among the first on the beach, rallying his teams and leading the charge toward the final Iranian positions. Captain James Harland coordinated the entire operation from the forward command post, while the USS Tripoli, LHA-7, provided additional support for logistics and rapid response. The paratroopers cleared bunkers, secured radar sites, and dismantled the last remaining defenses along the strait. Within hours, the entire coastline was under full American control. The moment was historic. The first oil tanker sounded its deep, triumphant horn as it passed safely through the Strait of Hormuz. Dozens more followed, their crews waving from the decks as they saw American flags flying over the captured coastline. The world's most important shipping route was free once again. its waters calm and clear beneath the open sky. Captain James Harland walked among the victorious 82nd Airborne troops on the secured coastline, shaking hands with Chief Petty Officer Marcus Hayes and the commanders preparing for the Kharg Island assault. A deep sense of pride and relief filled the air. The American flag was raised high over the newly captured positions. The long-threatened Iranian blockade in the Strait of Hormuz had been shattered and removed through the courage and skill of American paratroopers on the ground and Marines ready to strike from the sea. The 82nd Airborne Division had performed with exceptional bravery and professionalism. Their actions would be remembered as the day the Strait of Hormuz was finally reopened for good. While the Navy Marines stood ready to deliver the next decisive blow at Kharg Island, the full force now prepared to press the advantage, carrying with them the knowledge that they had achieved something extraordinary. The Strait of Hormuz, once a place of tension and threat, was now secure and open for global commerce. The soldiers stood tall and shared stories of the jump and the fight. Captain James Harland's voice carried across every radio channel one final time. Mission complete. The strait is open. The 82nd has done its part. Now the Marines finished the job at Kharg. We are moving forward. The American flag snapped proudly in the breeze. Freedom sails on. If you want to watch part 2 of Battle of Hormuz, subscribe and stay tuned.